What do you do when nothing seems to be changing? When you're still in the waiting. You're waiting for answers, for progress, simply for something to shift. Because foster care, it can often feel like that. Like sometimes you're just living in these in between moments. And today I want to talk about what it looks like to trust God in those quiet seasons. Today's episode is for that quieter season, the ones where everything feels really urgent, but nothing feels like it's moving forward. When you're waiting for decisions, change, clarity, or just simply something to shift, it can feel like you're living in this in between of where you are and where you thought you would be by now. Foster care often lives in the waiting, and it seems like this is the untold reality of the role. You're constantly in a place of waiting for court dates, waiting for plans, waiting for behaviours to settle or explode, waiting for someone else to make a decision and inform you of their decision or outcome. And while you're just left in that waiting, life just continues. You're still expected to show up. You still care and you still carry the emotional weight of it all. But it can feel like nothing is moving forward, like you have just been left just in the darkness. And these seasons, well, faith can feel really different. It can feel quiet, less certain, less emotional, less visible. And you might still be praying, but more often than not, you're left wondering, is anything actually going to change? And this is where most people begin to question, is God still working? Is he even listening to me? Has he put me on mute? One thing that I have come to learn as I lean on God more is his most incredible work is often done in the unseen. And not all of his work is actually visible. Not all change is immediate. And some of the most important things that God does, they actually happen quietly, under the surface, in ways that we don't always recognize straight away. And he does this in you, in the child, in the situation. And just remember that just because you can't always see the movement, it doesn't mean that nothing is happening. You wouldn't want a woman who is just 2 weeks pregnant to give birth just to prove that something is being created deep within. We learn to trust in the length of that process. We trust in the unseen. And this means leaning on our faithfulness in the ordinary days. But we can often expect faith to feel big, clear, confident, and certain. But what I've come to learn is more often than not, faith actually looks like just simply showing up again and again, choosing to be patient again and again, responding calmly when it would be so much easier not to, and continuing when you don't always feel like there's progress. And our faith, it's not dramatic, but it is steady. And it's that kind of faith that really matters. One of the hardest parts about waiting is wanting to see the results, to be included in decisions, to have answers, and just simply wanting to know, like, is this working? Is this making a difference? Is anything changing? But sometimes we have to release that need and just trust that our role is not to control the outcome, but to remain faithful in the process. And this can be some of the most challenging work that we do. So while you're waiting for things to change around you, to get some answers and some clarity, just know that something's also being formed deep within you. You're building patience and strength and depth and steadiness. And these things, they don't grow quickly, but they do grow over time in the quiet, unseen ways. And they shape the kind of carer and the kind of person that you are becoming. God is molding you into the next version of yourself. You just have to trust in the process and trust in yourself that you're going to grow through these periods of silence. Because yes, waiting can feel like you're being stuck, like nothing is progressing. But waiting is not the absence of movement. It's just a different kind of movement. It's learning to just be slower, quieter, less visible. but it's still meaningful, it's still important, and it's still part of your journey. And I've come to learn that when we're in these waiting seasons, this comes with more time to deepen the connections within the home and to create the steadiness within the home. That when there isn't all this outside influence, it really does allow you to cultivate that atmosphere within your home. You're allowed to just slow things down. So if you're in a season where nothing feels like it's changing, just let this be your simple reminder that God is still working, even here in the quiet, in the waiting, in your ordinary days. You don't need to rush through this season. You don't need to force any outcome. And you can stay steady, you can trust, and you can know that what is being built on the inside of you and your home, it still counts. Thank you for being a part of the Fostering Kingdoms community. But can I ask you to be an active member today in our community? Can you like this video, subscribe to our podcast, and even send this to a fellow foster carer who might need to hear this message today? Or it may even be someone that you know who may just benefit from some of our resources over at fosteringkingdoms.com. But if you are not ready to say goodbye yet, let's hang out some more.